All right, my man. We said it. Fireworks on deck right here. I really think that Song coming off of that loss to Corey Sandhagen, we have to weigh it differently than just a loss. We see how good Corey Sandhagen is time and time again. And now we got a dude who you already mentioned in the beginning of the show, Ricky Simon. Who else can beat Marab? Who else can put Marab in that submission position? It was a submission technically. But AJ, do we know the context? Right? We know the context behind the Simone win over Marab. It wasn't quite as clean. Talk to the people about it.
It wasn't quite as clean. I mean, you can hear everybody talking about it. I think the biggest thing that makes the fight is the name value right there, man. You go back to the fight, sure, it happens as it does. What makes me most excited about it, though, Derek, is the pace that Simone is able to keep. Even though the win was a little fishy, a little up and down, ghost town, whatever you want to call it, the pace that Simone can put on is what really does it for me, man. And that's what excites me here. Whether it was an actual win or whether you don't count it or not, man, what do you think, Derek?
Oh, listen, a win is a win at the end of the day, man. To even have somebody in a position where they're kind of fighting for their lives to get out of the submission, to remain, to keep the fight intact, goes to show that was like an old school Ricky Simon, too. That's not the good, new, legitimate Ricky Simon that we see today, because this dude's a whole nother monster. But the guy standing in front of him, I think, is going to make some of his game plan a little tougher than we would like to imagine. I love me some Ricky Simon. And I think that if he can get the takedown, look at what he just did to Jack Shore. I mean, that was impressive, man. You took down a grappler and you choked him out. Like, what are we talking about right here, right? But Song, man. Corey Sandhagen said it himself. I've never fought anybody as fast as this guy. Every punch was with violent intentions, punches, kicks, whatever you want to call it. And the dude can take down, or he could stop a takedown. He has takedown defense, good hips, good sprawls. So let's imagine this scenario, because you gotta do a thought experiment all across the board. Ricky Simon goes in for a couple takedowns. It's round 2, round 3, right? Both of them are getting a little bit tired, but they still got some go in them, and he just can't get the takedown. Then what happens?
Ooh, that's what's scary right here, Derek, because Song Yadong is very well trained and has amazing counter striking, man. This dude is fast. You were talking about Corey Sandhagen saying it, fast, hits hard, all that stuff. Yeah, Ricky Simon has faced that kind of adversity, but I don't know if he's faced that kind of adversity going deep into the third round, where Song Yadong is going to still be just as fast as he was in the first round, as he is the third. Now, Ricky Simon, a dude that can always put on pressure and will always be in your face. How does that happen when you're getting turned and cracked on? That's going to be the interesting thing right here, Derek, man. What excites me for this one, will Simon ever take that backward step? Will we see Song Yadong ever on the front foot, or is it just going to be pressure from the wrestler going forward?
Well, the thing that I've seen about Ricky Simon that I think is really interesting is that a lot of his takedowns, they're not, I'm from way out here shooting in some crazy attempt. It's, I'm going to let you crowd me. I'm going to let you throw a big combination, and then I'm going to duck, and I'm going to scoop you up, and I'm going to take you, right? Or I'm going to find ourselves in a position where you do a rhythm step, you back up, and then I just go ahead, boom, hit the double. Timing, transitions is everything for Simon. It's never really a blind shot. That's why I don't think you see him gas himself out just off of just takedown after takedown. But the thing that you have to take into consideration on both ends, right? Simon's takedowns attempts can definitely slow down Song, right? But are we going to see a repeat? And this is a completely different weight class, but Curtis Blades and Sergey Pavlovich, right? If the striking is a little too overwhelming to where you can't find your opportunity because you're scared that you're going to get cracked with an uppercut, with a knee, with something up the middle, by the time you shoot, it might be too late. That is the worry on both ends. So what's more of a danger factor here for you, AJ? Is it the striking of Song, or is it the grappling and control ability of Simon? Because both of them can be game over for the other fighter, but what worries you more objectively? Not based on who you're betting, but objectively.
Objectively, Derek, the striking of Song Yadong. Why? Because where he's training out of, man, ATT, all those dudes are really good wrestlers, man. In fact, I think most of their base comes from wrestling, and then they actually turn it around and have the crazy brawls like we're used to seeing that come out of that camp. But Song Yadong has the technical proficiency on the feet. And with that technical proficiency comes the standing up every single at the start of every round. Ricky Simon has to get it to the ground. There's a lot of things that has to happen. Whereas at least when the fight starts, Song Yadong has the advantage right there. Now, what do you think?
Well, just to clear up, right? Ricky Simon, he's at the ATT Portland. Then Song is going to be fighting out of Team Alpha Male, right? So it's
Alpha Male.
Yeah, Team Alpha Male. And you're right, the brawls, the crazy culture of Team Alpha Male. I do think that the striking poses the larger threat over the course of 5 rounds, simply because rounds 4 and 5, we know we know Ricky Simon, right? We know this man averages 6 takedowns a fight, so it's not even a problem, right? But AJ, this is going to be a little bit weird, and this is a little long-winded, so I'm going to wrap it up here. But if you had to take a guess, right, not looking at anything, we're both just having a conversation right here. There's 2 fighters that are in this main event. Only 1 fighter in their last 10 fights of these 2 have actually gone past 3 rounds. Which fighter is it?
Ooh, Song Yadong.
It's Song, and that was his last fight against Sandhagen. Both of these fighters, aside from that, man, it's all been 3 rounds or less. So that's the part right there where it's Ricky Simon can keep it at this high clip. But we can't sit here and pretend like we've seen him do it over 5 rounds recently. You know what I mean? So with that being said, let's dive into the numbers. Plus 110 underdog is Song Yadong, I think rightfully so, against Ricky Simon based on their styles. It is the props that are a little interesting to me. Plus 175 decision for Simon. I don't feel as comfortable. Reason why is because we see how the judges are scoring fights these days. Control time doesn't mean what it once did. Plus 200 for the TKO against Song Yadong. AJ, quick trivia quiz right here. Ricky Simon has been finished 1 time in his last 10 fights. If you had to imagine a fighter who finished him, because is there anybody off the top of your head that you're like, that sounds like somebody who would finish Ricky Simon, or somebody who has? Just quickly.
Bantamweight class. Man.
I'll give you a hint. This fighter is no longer currently in the UFC. He is considered a legend of the UFC, actually.
Marlon Moraes.
Close, not quite, not even remotely close. Uriah Faber, believe it or not, an old Team Alpha Male guy, bro. What are we talking about? But
yeah.
That goes to show, man, that was a long time ago, man. If I'm looking at the numbers, that was 2019. Ricky Simon is not an easy guy to finish. So plus 200 for the TKO prop for Song. I respect it. Do you see it coming to fruition?
TKO knockout coming for Song Yadong. Do I see? Oh, man. Not really, Derek. I mean, if there's going to be a finish for Yadong, obviously the TKO, you're not going to go for that plus 1,200 submission. But the chin of Simon has been tested and hasn't really faltered as of late. I mean, has he had any real losses by TKO? Yeah, Uriah Faber. I mean, a long time ago, 2019. So, I mean, I don't know, Derek. Could it happen? Yes, I'll give you an answer. Could it happen? Yes. A little more likely than that plus 400 submission coming from Ricky Simon's side. But personally, I like that one a little bit better. And I'm with you a lot more. I like that one a lot more than the decision prop for Ricky Simon. Do you see any value in that plus 400 submission coming the opposite direction?
Yes, because Ricky Simon is a bad man, and I do think he has what it takes to grapple and submit Song, especially if he can just catch him. But I also believe in the power, the explosiveness of a 25-year-old Song who also has legit grappling chops that he just doesn't put on display. So I'm going to let the cat out the bag, man. I love me some Ricky Simon, but I think Song is going to get the job done here. I respect Simon enough that I don't think a finish is incoming. I see plus 550 decision for Song Yadong, and I'm seeing sparkles come off of that. It's glimmering. I'm taking that all day long. Give me the 550 decision prop for the underdog who is ahead in the rankings, Song Yadong. How do you see it?
It's wild, right? Ahead in the rankings, yet a lot of people give Simon a lot of respect right here, Derek. Personally, man, it's so rough to go with that decision, but plus 175, you almost can't beat it. Give me Ricky Simon, give me a decision. I do think we're going to see a war. I don't think we're going to see a wet blanket of any sorts, but I'm hoping the control time is with the judges. Let's go.
Listen, man, 5 fight win streak for Ricky Simon. You got to respect it. With that being said, folks, that is your main event.